was the first world religion, or the religion of the beginning of the world? That's a good question, and you're gonna have the answer directly from the Bible to this question. And if we go to the Bible, for example, we have the text here. I teach Hebrew language, the language of the so-called Old Testament, the first 39 books of the Bible. And I teach as well Greek language as well, Koine and Greek language. The Bible was written in Koine Greek from Matthew to Revelation, okay? The last 27 books or letters of the Bible, the so-called New Testament, was written in Koine Greek. And I teach Aramaic language for reading as well, and you can have this opportunity. Just contact me and I'm going to help you. It would be my pleasure to help you to develop the knowledge of these languages, ancient languages of the Bible. Now you're going to listen the answer to the question, what was the first world religion, okay? First of all, we go to Genesis chapter 4 in the text of the Hebrew Bible, in the text of Leningradensis Codex, okay? The basis for the Biblia Hebraica Stuttgartensia, a standard text for Bible translation, okay? Genesis chapter 4, we have here the opinion about a woman, her ideas. The first woman, Eve, she said something. I'm going to open the Bible in Genesis chapter 4 in English language as well, in the jw.org website, the biggest website in number of languages. And we are going to see this, the translation, because the most exact translation of the Bible is here, as you see now. For example, in Genesis chapter 4, verse 1, it says, Ve'ha'adam, or Adam, yada et Hava. He knew Eve, or he had sexual intercourse with Eve. Let's see in English language. Now Adam had sexual relations with his wife Eve, and she became pregnant. Okay? When she gave birth to Cain, she said, I have produced a male child with the help of Jehovah. In the Hebrew Bible, Adam yada et Hava, Adam had the sexual relation with Eve, Ishto, his wife, Vatachar, and she became pregnant. Vateled ben et Cain, okay, Vateled, or she became a mother, et Cain, of Cain, Vatomer, and she said, Kaniti ish et Yehovah. Take a look, she said, Kaniti ish et Yehovah. I have produced a male child with the help of Jehovah. She didn't say with the help of the Lord, because she said Yehovah. The name of God appears here, okay? And it's interesting that she said, Ka-nitika of Cain, I of in, Cain, Ka-I, okay? Or Kaniti-ish, the abbreviation of I have produced Kaniti, the beginning Ka, Ish is man, or Ka-I. And the Nun letter, it refers to a seed. So, she believed that Cain was the seed promised by God, but he wasn't. She was mistaken. But the most important point here is that she said, Kaniti shet Yehovah. So, the first religion was the worship of Jehovah. Okay? That's the Bible answering your question. Your question, if you have the question, what was the first world religion, or the religion of the beginning of the world? Catholic Church? No. Catholic Church was founded hundreds after Jesus. Okay, Catholic Orthodox Church, 1,000 years after Jesus. Before Jesus, we have the Jewish religious system. Okay? But in the beginning of the world, we have the first world religion the worship of Jehovah. Eve, the first woman, she said, Kaniti ish et Yehovah. I have produced a male child with the help of Jehovah. So the question is, who was the God of Eve, the first woman? The Bible is so clear about it. Let's go now to the next text, Genesis chapter 24. I'm going to show you in the Bible, directly from the original text. Okay? Though we don't have the original material because it was something in decay or not, it can, which sometimes it destroys itself. So we have copies of the Bible. And this text is a very well-known text of the Bible. Genesis chapter 24, verse 27, we have the account of a man, his name was Eliezer, looking for a wife to Isaac. And the text says in Genesis 24, verse 27, and Eliezer said, May Jehovah be praised, the God of my master Abraham. Take a look here. May Jehovah be praised, the God of my master Abraham, or maybe you can translate it, the God of my Lord Abraham. The text is Genesis 24, verse 27, Vayomer, the words of Eliezer, Baruch Yehovah Elohei Adoni Avraham. Baruch Yehovah. He didn't say Baruch Adon or Lord, no. He said Baruch Yehovah Elohei Adoni Avraham. Okay, maybe praised Yehovah, the God of my master, or Adoni, Abraham. Okay, so the question is, who was the God of Abraham? Jehovah in Portuguese language, or Jehovah in Portuguese language, Jehovah in English language, in Hebrew, Yehovah. Okay? Maybe you say, but there's no O here. Yes, not here, but in other places we see it. For example, if you go to Genesis chapter 3, in Hebrew Bible, verse 14, you can read, Vayomer Yehovah Elohim el Hanachash, and Jehovah God said to the serpent. Take a look. Yehovah, here we have the vowels E-O-A, Shiva Roland Kamatz. This text we have here is from the Aleppo or Leningradensis Codex. Okay? Aleppo Codex is a text from the 10th century. Okay? But this is a copy of older texts in Hebrew. For example, Hillel Codex is the 5th century after Jesus. So it's a copy of a very old text. The Hillel Codex was very ancient text. Okay? Older than the Aleppo or Leningradensis Codex. And you can find the text of the Hillel Codex, a copy of a Hillel Codex of the 5th century, you can find in the web page I use. I have produced a web page, my web page defending the translation of Jehovah's Witnesses as the best, as the more exact translation of the Bible. The text is Tradução do Novo Mundo Defendida, New World Translation Defended, Portuguese web page, but you go to this web page, you type Tradução do Novo Mundo Defendida, you go here in research, you click here and you put, for example, Hillel Codex, okay? You can type Hillel Codex and you have the access to the codex with the name Yehovah, very ancient. It is a copy from the Middle Ages, but of course a copy of the 5th century, okay? You can put it in English here, just translate it to English, because the original here is my language, Brazil's language, Portuguese, but it's going to help you a lot. I believe in Brazil that's the web page that defends the best translation for a lot of texts and exalt the name of Jehovah. Of course, I teach language, that's why I have this web page. Not all Jehovah's Witnesses have a web page. It's not good to show his face. For example, here in Brazil, we don't know what's going on. If we have here in some days ahead a dictatorship, we could have problems if we show our face. That's why, you remember what happened to Jehovah's Witnesses in Russia. They were the first one to be attacked. Their kingdom halls were grabbed from them. Then we are, of course, we are right when we say that it's dangerous for us because we teach from house to house. We are more exposed than the people from other religions, but we respect other religions as well. There are good people in all religions, but the worship and the most ancient religion in the world, which one is? The question remains, what was the first world religion? Let's see another text. Exodus chapter 6, okay? Exodus chapter 6, the verse is verse 28. 28. On that day, when Jehovah spoke to Moses in the land of Egypt, Jehovah told Moses, I am Jehovah. Speak to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, everything I am speaking to you. Okay, let's see the same text in Hebrew Bible. Does it say Lord? Let's see. Verse 28. Vayhi beyom deber Yehovah el Moshe. In the day that spoke Jehovah to Moses. Be'eretz Mitzrayim, the land of Egypt. Vaydaber Yehovah el Moshe lemor. Jehovah spoke to Moses. Ani Yehovah, daber el Paro. I am Jehovah. Speak or daber el Paro. As we see here. Speak to Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Melech Mitzrayim. Et kol asher ani dover elecha. Or kol hadevarim, it means all the words, everything I am speaking to you. So the question is, after we see this explanation, this reading, who was the God of Moses? Who was the God of Moses? Of course, Jehovah spoke to Moses, as we see here. Vaydaber Yehovah el Moshe, not Adon el Moshe, not Lord el Moshe, as the evangelical churches they love to say, because in the original text of the Bible the name was there. We have the name of God, and the God of Abraham, the God of Moses. He said that he wants his name to be known. For example, Exodus chapter 9, verse 16. Let's see what God says about his own name. I'm going to change it also to chapter 9. That's the jw.org web page. Exodus 9, verse 16. But for this very reason I have kept you in existence. God speaking those words to Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. To show you my power and to have my name declared in all the earth. So God said he wants his name declared in all the earth. And we see this, Ve'olam ba'avur zot ha'emadticha ba'avur hareotcha et kohi, to show his power, my power, okay, better, my power, kohi, ulema'am saper shemi bechol haaretz, or be declared my name, saper shemi, in all the earth, bechol haaretz. So God said his name must be declared. Saper shemi, declare my name. Which name? Moses asked you, what is his name? What is your name? And God said in Exodus, if you read Exodus chapter 3, verse 15, God said, Exodus 3:15, Vayomer od Elohim el Moshe, and God said to Moses, Ko tomar el bnei Israel. That's the way you have to say to the son of Israel. Yehovah, Elohei avotechem. Jehovah, the God of your forefathers. Elohei Avraham, the God of Abraham. Elohei Yitzchak, the God of Isaac. Ve'Elohei Yaakov, and the God of Jacob. Shelachani alechem, has sent me to you. Zeh Shemi, this is my name. Now we have here Zeh it's a demonstrative pronoun, this. So it's referring to a name that is here. Jehovah. Ze Shemi, or this is my name. Le'olam, forever, or for time indefinite. Veze Zichri Ledor, dor. And it's a reminding. Chapter 3 of Exodus verse is the verse 15. Let's see. I'm going to show you in English. In the New World Translation, according to Jason David Bedun, a scholar, this is the most exact translation of the Bible compared between 9 Bible translations. So it says in verse 15, then God said once more to Moses, this is what you are to say to the Israelites. Jehovah, the God of your forefathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and this is how I am to be remembered from generation to generation. So the name of God is never forgotten. Nehemiah Gordon is a scholar. He was involved in the translation of the Dead Sea Scrolls, and he found several rabbis from Israel and other lands in the Middle Ages, and they were really assuming and testifying that the name of God is pronounced with the E-O-A, or Yehovah. That's what we have for sure now. As before, they would say, the people tend to say, no, the Jews did not use the pronouns, they did not use to pronounce the name. It's wrong, you have to change everything that you have learned about it. This is not correct. You can find more information about it in the book Shattering the Conspiracy of Silence with Nehemiah Gordon. Okay? So the question is, who was the God of Abraham? Who was the God of Abraham? The God of Abraham was Jehovah. Okay? Just a second. And let's go now to the next text, Deuteronomy chapter 1. Moses wrote these words. These are the words that Moses spoke to all Israel in the region of the Jordan, in the wilderness. Okay? And in verse 6, Moses said, Jehovah our God told us in Horeb. If you go to the Bible, let's see, in the Hebrew Bible, Deuteronomy chapter 1, Moses said something. Because it says, this is the words, Asher diber Moshe el kol Israel, that Moses said, or told to all Israel. What was the word? Which words? Yehovah Eloheinu diber elenu bechorev lemor. Jehovah our God. He didn't say, Lord our God. Jehovah our God. Yehovah Eloheinu diber elenu. So, if you go to Deuteronomy chapter 6, 1, 6, better. Chapter 1, verse 6. Jehovah our God told us in Horeb. So, who was the God of Moses? Who was the God of Joshua? Let's see. Joshua now. Chapter 24. I have to change now here. Again. Joshua. Chapter 24. The verse is verse 14, my friends. Take a look in Hebrew and the translation. The question is, what was the religion of the beginning of the world? Verse 24. Joshua 24, verse 14 and 15. Oh God. 14 and 15. It says, Ve'ata iz'iru et Yehovah ve'ivdu otho. You have to fear Jehovah and serve Him. Betamim, or to be being clean. Okay? The word tamim can be translated other ways. Joshua 24, it says in Portuguese language, therefore fear Jehovah and serve Him with integrity and faithfulness. In the Hebrew Bible we have betamim. Yes, it could be integrity. Uve emet. Emet is truth. or integrity. והסירו את אלוהים אשר עבדו אבותיכם. They are said here to remove the gods that they served, the forefathers served. בעבר הנהר, in the other side of the river. ובמצרים, and in the Egypt. ועבדו את יהוה, and you have to serve Jehovah. That's what we read in Joshua chapter 24, verse 14. Therefore, fear Jehovah and serve him with integrity and faithfulness, and remove the gods that your forefathers served on the other side of the river and in Egypt, and serve Jehovah. And 15, it says, now if it seems bad to you to serve Jehovah, choose for yourself today whom you will serve, whether the gods that your forefathers served on the other side of the river, or the gods of the Amorites in whose lands you are dwelling. But as for me, said Joshua, and my household, we will serve to Jehovah. In the Hebrew Bible, we can read it the same way. Ve'imra be'enechem la'avod et Yehovah. If it's wrong or bad to serve Jehovah, Bahur lachem. You have to choose. Ayom, today. Et mi ta'avdun. Whom you are going to serve. Im et Elohim asher avdu avoteichem. If the gods that served your forefathers, asher me'ever ha'nachar, in the other side of the river. Ve'im et Elohei ha'emori, or the Elohei of Amorites, asher atem yoshevim be'artsem, in the lands that you live now. Ve'anochi ubeiti. But me and my household, na'avod et Yehovah. We are going to serve Jehovah. Or, as we see here, we will serve Jehovah. So, the question is, who was the God of Joshua? Who was the God of this strong soldier? Servant of Moses? Servant of Jehovah? Jehovah God was his God. So, the religion worshipping Jehovah is not a new religion. It is something of an old time in the times in Aion, from the heavens. Jehovah is the God of all the earth. Jehovah is the creator of the heavens and earth. So the question was in the beginning of our video, what was the first world religion? Do you have any doubt now? There is no doubt. The worship of Jehovah. How can I find it? The biggest website you can see that this site is jw.org. There is a title here, A World in Turmoil. It's going to give you hope. It's going to give you Bible texts with the hope. Okay? And how can you cope with the problems we face today? And now you have everything you need in your hand in order to know the truth about the first religion of the world.